Hey, so what's going on? In case you can't tell by my voice, I am sick. I think it's allergies. I don't think it's an actual illness per se. My son had the same thing, exact same symptoms. He was laid up for he was off his feet for over a week. He's actually just now getting over it. He still has some of the symptoms, but they're pretty minor. But yeah, it's been a very, very hectic couple weeks. Haven't done, not only have I not ran, I haven't really done much in the way of exercise, period. I've been too busy with yard work. We finally have had some stretches of nice days. So I was able to get out in the yard and get some stuff done. And then on top of that, my son has had a ton of track meets to go to. We went to the Butler Invitational. That's a very, very big race. What was it? I never did get an official school count, but it put it this way: we got there at 9 o'clock. The meet started, I think, at 10 in the morning. We didn't leave until 11 o'clock at night. My son, one of his events is the 4x400 meter relay, and if you know how track meets are structured, that's the last event. He also runs the 4x800 relay, which is the first event. So if we want to catch all of his races, we got to be there at the very start of the meet and the very end of the meet. But a cool thing did happen. While we were there, a runner from Butler, he is currently, well, last I checked, I doubt it's changed. But as of that race, he was the top 1600 meter runner in the country. He ran his 1600 meter race at about it was a 3:59 and change. And the sort of the letdown of that is because at 1600 meters, people call it a mile, but it's not. It's like a mile is like 1609 meters. So he did not technically run a 4-minute mile. His mile time was like 4:01. And with what research that I was able to kind of do, there's only been like one other runner, maybe two other runners that have ran a 1600 that fast at a high school only meet. There have been other high schoolers that have ran faster, but they were competing against like international people and people that have adults even. So it was a really, really cool thing to see. Hats off to him. Hope he goes on to do great things. It's always nice when somebody who's semi-local. Butler's maybe about an hour drive from where we live. So it's always nice to see somebody who's semi-local go on and excel at something like that. But yeah, 4 days away from the Pittsburgh half marathon. I've run marathons sick before. I take that back. I've ran a marathon sick before. And it was the Presque Isle race. It's a 2-lapper. You go around. The Presque Isle is it's a peninsula that juts out into Lake Erie. The marathon is 2 laps around that. It works out to be like almost like 13 miles on the button. So it's kind of cool. But yeah, I ran that in, I want to say 2018. See, I've ran that race 3 times. But anyway, it was the last time I ran it. I know that much. But despite being sick, I felt miserable. I felt miserable going into that race. I was helping coach Pee Wee football at the time, and that whole day, helping coach Pee Wee football, I felt horrible. I was like, I got this race the next day. What am I gonna do? I go out and I run what I believe. I've never broken down the times, but I believe it was the fastest half marathon I'd ever ran in a race. I go out and then I run the second half of the race, my slowest half marathon that I've ever ran. So can I do this? Yeah, do I? Would I like to feel better? Of course. Um, and my son's gonna be doing it with me. At least as of right now. I told him because my wife was originally going to do it, but she's going to be out of town. She's literally leaving town tonight and won't be back until Sunday evening. So we had to defer that race. I couldn't find anybody else that wanted to run it. So I asked my son, like, "Hey, do you want to do this?" I know it's getting kind of into like the meat of the track season, but he said, "Yeah, sure." I told him, I was like, "You don't have to go out and put anything. He's like, just run with me." To run with me, and we'll do. I expect to be somewhere between 12 and 13-minute miles, so it's almost walking for him. um, so yeah, we're gonna do that on Sunday. I'm gonna try to get some video during the race. There are some kind of. I'm not gonna promise it's gonna be good video. The video's gonna suck. But there are some really cool things about the Pittsburgh race. You get to go over a few of the bridges, and which going over bridges is I've come to learn bridges are essentially hills. They're humped up a lot more than what you think. Um, at least some of them, not all of them, of course. But, uh, but yeah, I've done the Pittsburgh full marathon once. I've never done half, but the half is just half of the full marathon course. So it's like I don't expect any kind of surprises or anything like that. Uh, what else is going on? Man, I think that's about it. I gotta get once we get through track season, uh, and get like through my kids' graduation and their open house by mid June. My intent is to get on a more normal, more structured routine. I don't know what I was thinking a few weeks ago when I was gonna start getting, when I wanted to try to get into something more structured at the end of cardiac rehab. Um, it just doesn't spring. It just doesn't work out. I mean, my kids both graduate this year, so my springs are going to be a little less hectic next year. There's still yard work though. It's like every year, it come May, or well, not even May, mid-April, playing catch up, trying to do like as much as possible because we just get so much rain in the spring, and you can't get out in the yard and get things looking decent. And it's like we have 3 acres, and most of it is yard. Um, so it's not like it's not a small task. But I just don't have time to devote to regular routines. So I've either got to, well, it doesn't matter. I'm rambling at this point. But yeah, once we get into the summer though, things will normalize a little bit. But then again, well, no, well, I'm just thinking to myself here. No, I got a lot going on this summer too. I do want to get into. I do want to get a regular workout routine going. I just don't know what that's going to look like. Probably won't be as frequent or as intense as I'd like, um, but yeah, because I've got that fall race already scheduled. I've got one or two more halves I want to do over the course of the summer, and then once we get into October, well, heck, my daughter will be in college. She's supposed to be in the college marching band, so at least some of our Saturdays are going to be spoken for. We'll figure it out. That's it for now. Take it easy.